Ever feel like you're doing literally everything right during the day, eating well, hitting the gym, but you're just not seeing the results you want? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're doing a thorough analysis of the hidden nightly habits that are actually controlling your metabolism. We're going to decode the exact sequence of events that kicks off in your body the second the sun goes down, and more importantly, show you exactly how to take control of them.
Seriously, have you ever wondered why, despite all your best efforts while you're awake, you sometimes wake up feeling sluggish, puffy, or even heavier than the night before? It's incredibly frustrating, right? But here's the thing. Your weight loss plateaus aren't just about daytime willpower or counting calories. It turns out there are 3 completely invisible environmental triggers that get flipped right before you go to bed. And these triggers, they can literally switch your body from a fat-burning mode into a fat-storing mode, all while you're fast asleep and completely unaware.
So here's our game plan for today's explainer. We're going to start by breaking down the temperature switch, then we'll move on to the meal timing switch, tackle the light switch, and finally we'll bring the whole shebang together to create the optimized night.
All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the temperature switch. Now, this is actually the easiest factor to fix, but I'll warn you, it challenges a habit most of us deeply cherish. And yeah, it might cause a few arguments over the thermostat. We all love sleeping in a warm, cozy room. It feels great, but biologically speaking, that comfort is actually metabolically harmful. There's this absolutely fascinating study from Harvard researchers where they monitored healthy men sleeping in temperature-controlled rooms, and they found that simply sleeping at a cool 19 degrees Celsius compared to a warmer 24 degrees Celsius increased the activity of metabolic brown fat by a massive 42%. We're not talking about some crazy new supplement or a brutal midnight workout here. This is purely the result of just turning down the dial on your thermostat.
To really get why your bedroom temperature matters so much, we have to look at the 2 distinct types of fat in your body. Think of white fat as essentially a biological storage locker. Its main job is just to hold on to excess energy until you need it later. But brown fat? Brown fat is an entirely different beast. It acts as a metabolic incinerator, actively designed to burn energy rather than store.
So the real star of the show here is brown adipose tissue, or BAT. These are highly specialized heat-generating fat cells, densely packed with mitochondria, which, fun fact, is actually what gives them that brown color. Their entire biological purpose is to burn stored energy to generate heat and regulate your body temperature. So, when you sleep in a cooler room, your body directly stimulates this tissue to keep you warm. By doing this, you're potentially burning an extra 150 to 200 calories per night, literally without lifting a single finger.
Okay, let's shift gears and move on to section 2, the meal timing switch.
Now, this switch requires a bit more intentionality because we're messing with our daily routines. We're going to look at how late-night snacking and the elevated insulin levels that come with it create an absolute biological disaster for overnight fat loss. To understand why, you need to meet an enzyme called hormone-sensitive lipase. This enzyme is absolutely crucial for breaking down stored triglycerides into usable free fatty acids. It's basically the key required to unlock your fat cells. But here's the problem. Insulin acts like an aggressive nightclub bouncer standing directly in front of those fat cell doors. Even if your insulin is only slightly elevated from, say, a quick late-night snack, it blocks this fat-burning enzyme's activity by a staggering 50 to 90%.
The sheer magnitude of the difference your meal timing makes is just wild. Look at the foundational mice studies coming out of Dr. Satchidananda Panda's lab. They show that cutting off food just 4 hours before bed creates this beautiful insulin-free window. Doing this ensures you enter deep sleep completely unhindered. The result? You increase your total overnight fat burning by 30 to 40% compared to late eaters. Let that sink in. Same exact calories, but dramatically different metabolic results, all because of when you ate them.
And that brings us to our third and honestly most disruptive factor. Section 3, the light switch.
We really need to talk about how the modern world, specifically the glow from our screens and light bulbs, is effectively destroying our master circadian clock and blinding our natural nighttime metabolism. Your body actually has a highly specific biological fat-burning window. Right between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., your stress hormone cortisol drops to its absolute lowest point, while your human growth hormone reaches its absolute peak. This precise alignment? It's the ultimate green light for your body to aggressively break down fat to fuel its nighttime cellular repair.
But here is exactly how we sabotage that golden window. Check out this data from Harvard. Historically, our only nighttime light source was firelight, right? Firelight emits these red and orange wavelengths that do absolutely zero damage to your melatonin levels.
But artificial blue light from our LEDs and smartphone screens, specifically in that 460 to 490 nanometer range, suppresses melatonin by up to 55%. This sends a massive false daytime signal straight to your brain, delaying your circadian rhythm by an hour and a half and completely pushing that critical fat-burning window out of reach.
So how do we fix all this? Let's bring it all together in Section 4, the optimized night.
When we take all three of these switches, temperature, meal timing, and light, and actually align them together, we create this compounding physiological chain reaction. It's like magic. Let's contrast these two scenarios. On a bad night, you know the one, warm room, late takeout, scrolling on your phone in bed, you might only squeeze out 2 to 3 hours of pure fat burning. Your body is just fighting way too many environmental roadblocks. But on the optimized night, in a cool, fasted, and dark environment, you remove those roadblocks entirely. You effectively double your total hours of uninterrupted fat burning to 5 or 6 hours a night.
Picture this timeline for a perfectly optimized night. You drift off easily at 10:30 p.m. Because you haven't eaten late, by 11:30 p.m., your growth hormone peaks without any interference from that bouncer, insulin. Fast forward to 1:30 a.m., your core temperature is nice and low, your melatonin is high from avoiding blue light, and your body is now in deep fat breakdown. Finally, at 6:30 a.m., you experience a sharp, clear awakening driven by a totally natural cortisol spike. Every single piece of the puzzle locks together flawlessly. And the long-term stakes of getting this right, they are huge. A really comprehensive meta-analysis looking at over 20 different studies found that consistently hitting these optimal sleep criteria lowers your overall markers for metabolic dysfunction by an incredible 40%. We are talking 40% less risk for things like visceral fat accumulation, insulin resistance, and elevated blood sugar. And you're doing it simply by managing the environment around you while you sleep.
So how do we actually put this into practice without getting completely overwhelmed? Simple. We use a 3-week master key plan. Please do not try to change everything tonight. In week 1, I want you to focus purely on dropping your bedroom temperature to between 18 and 20 degrees Celsius. Once your body is used to that cooler room, use week 2 to shift your last meal to 4 hours before bed. And then finally, in week 3, you tackle the trickiest habit of all, fixing your light exposure. For that week 3 light protocol, there are 3 critical steps you got to hit. First, get direct morning sunlight in your eyes within 60 minutes of waking up. This firmly sets your body's master clock for the day. Second, switch to amber or red lights in your home about 2 hours before bed to protect that precious melatonin. And third, and this is a big one, you must maintain consistent sleep times, even on the weekends. Sleeping in wildly irregular hours creates social jet lag that severely misaligns your master clock, and honestly, it undoes all the metabolic progress you just worked for all week. Think about this for a second. You spend a third of your life asleep. The question is whether that time is working for you or against you. Every single night, your body is making crucial metabolic decisions. It's either burning fat for cellular repair or it's storing it. And you are the architect. You're the one setting the exact environmental conditions that dictate those biological choices. So, my final question to you is this. Which of the 3 switches are you going to flip tonight? Seriously, don't wait for the perfect moment or tell yourself you'll start next Monday. Take control of your sleep environment right now. You can start tonight literally just by walking over to the thermostat and dropping it a few degrees. Try it out. See how you feel tomorrow morning and watch how your body responds. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.